Good afternoon. This is Dr. Saul Goldstein. The opinions expressed by these two, fellows, colored folks, may or may not be the opinions of their employers or mine. Holla at me.
Top, they want top, they love top, they want top, they love top.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
MLS is back in 2023. I think we kick off in February next year again.
Yeah.
Same as 2022. I'm here for that because I need my MLS, man. But we talked about the league moving to Apple TV, and we talked about the general lack of linear TV options. But here we have a list of the most televised teams in MLS. So which teams will be on TV the most number of times in 2023? At the top of that list with 6 are Atlanta United, LAFC, LA Galaxy, the Portland Timbers, and of course the Seattle Sounders. This makes perfect sense to me. I would have picked those from any list anywhere without question. Biggest markets in the MLS, the most engaged fan bases. No question how they arrived at 6 appearances on national television. Just below that, with 4 apiece, are Austin and Nashville. Again, 2 big new markets, brand new shinies doing very well. Then with 3, Minnesota, Orlando City, Philly, Sporting KC, St. Louis, Columbus Crew with 2, Dallas with 2, and then at 1, Charlotte, Chicago, Cincinnati, Colorado, DC, Inter Miami, New England, NYCFC, Red Bulls, RSL, and San Jose. No appearances at all with Houston, Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver. Boy, they did Canada dirty.
They said, fuck that Canadian shit.
Dirty. What do you think about this list, man? Looks pretty standard to me. How you feel about it?
I mean, it makes sense. I think the devil's really in the details of how many games this actually is,
Mhm.
right? Because you see, like, Atlanta United has 6 games, right? So
Mhm.
you're thinking, like, wow, they're going to be on TV 6 times. But, like, what that means is, like, let's say they play Charlotte. That's going to be Charlotte's only game on TV, right? Like if they
Mhm.
play
Mhm.
DC,
Mhm.
that's going to be DC's only game on TV, because a lot
Gotcha.
of these teams only have like, one game on TV, right? Like what is it? Like something like 13 or so of these teams only have one game on TV, maybe 10 or so.
Yeah,
So
something like
like,
that.
yeah, I think this is actually only 34 like television slots. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, which
Which
is, I mean, not unexpected.
like, bro, like this is supposed to be the number 1 league in the country.
It is.
You got 34 TV slots, bro. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound negative, but
Yeah.
like, you got 34 TV slots, bro. That's literally like 2 games a team.
Yeah.
And some teams ain't even getting games, right? Like Canada, like ain't even on TV. So
Yeah.
like,
So if you are the commissioner of MLS and you look at the breakdown of the total cost of doing a linear TV deal, talent for local markets, yada yada yada, TV crews, all the fine details, or strip all of that away, do it on streaming, minimize your linear TV, but increase your overall budget for other parts of the game. You still going linear TV?
yeah.
Given that it hasn't really worked all that advantageously for you in your first 25, 27 years.
I mean, I understand why I understand why the like move was to take the money for streaming because there's no way you were going to get that money on linear TV.
Mm-hmm.
But like taking that money for the streaming is also a recognition that like you aren't going to work on your broadcast TV product,
Mm.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because that's essentially what you're saying, right? Essentially, what you're saying is like, we've tried to do broadcasts for like, a couple of decades. It hadn't really worked out. We're about to go take the streaming bag and just not be on linear TV or only be on linear TV for 30 something dates, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I get it. I personally wouldn't have done it. I personally would have, like, tried to figure out, like, what we can do in the broadcast TV space, right? Like, I mean, I probably would have opted for less regional stuff and more like on site programming and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe tried to do like a streaming deal where you get like kind of like a red zone channel going or like a single MLS channel,
Mm-hmm.
deal going. Like I would try to get creative in that way, but I can't fault them for taking the money, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
also
tough
like
to say.
yeah, it's going to severely limit like the exposure of your television product though, right?
Yeah. 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 I'm curious to see how it plays out though, because I think, like in theory, this could be. Well, first, let me lead with we know that MLS is very, very strategic about the moves that they make.
Yeah.
And they haven't misstepped all that much from a fan perspective. From player perspective, they probably missed a whole bunch of steps. But from fan perspective, they generally get us the product we want to watch in the best way possible given their capacity right now or their strength right now. But I feel like the target demo for MLS is primarily on streaming anyway. Like, even when you think about the success of the Cooligans, right? They got all the way to network TV from streaming. Like that was just YouTube, and they made their way to a linear TV deal just from the target demo of what we consider the quote unquote normal or general MLS fan. So I think if MLS did all the math and said, "Hey, the people we're trying to reach aren't really sitting down to watch this on broadcast anyway. They're iPhone users. They're this age group. They're watching streaming anyway. They're subscribing to Fubo TV to watch the soccer Cooligans. Like this just makes sense." So I understand both sides of it, but I have no idea like what it means in practice either way. And that's just what I want to see. Like, will this actually work
Yeah.
out and turn around to be good? Or is it gonna be like a complete disaster that they'll be trying to unwind somehow, 2 years in, which they can't because I think it was a 10-year deal.
10-year deal.
Ooh,
That's what I'm saying. If this shit goes bad after year 2,
man, this shit better work.
that's what I'm saying. And like one thing about your Cooligans point, like you're right, like not for nothing, like you kind of got to dance with the date that brought you, and they were able to transition like their MLS like streaming and like kind of subculture like fame into like linear TV, but like that linear TV deal didn't really go well,
No,
right? And I
because then
mean,
you need now once you're at linear TV, which is the other problem that MLS has is like they're like, look, man, we're creating these slots for you. We work this deal out. We could give this slot to somebody else that could pay us way more money and is gonna get us way more eyeballs on this network than you. So I mean, that's kind of the issue. Is like now you're at that level, you got to deliver on another level of um quantitative analysis that is
yeah,
different. It's just
yeah,
very
it's just
different.
different. Yeah. And like I don't like that's why like I really like what the Cooligans have done, but I also like look at them as a test case, as like like your MLS base audience on streaming isn't your broadcast audience on linear, right?
Facts.
So like, does that market transition? And like, what, I don't want to say like what is your brand, because that sounds, oh my god, that just sounds like every influencer ever, right? Like, what is your
Yeah, it's
brand,
not wrong though, man.
right? But like, yeah, like what, well, I like to say, what is your market share? Like
Yeah,
who?
it's what is your brand, bro? Because
Yeah,
like not to get into their business, like they're cool dudes. They done really cool stuff and continue to do cool stuff. But I'm just saying, like from the perspective of like what actually happens, is I feel
yeah,
like their Patreon users are like $1 a month people or $5 a month people. Fubo TV is 50 something. Like it's a big,
yeah.
big difference. That's another type of spend. So are those people that you generally have around supporting at $1 a clip, are they also able to or willing to support at $50 a clip? Very different conversations.
Yeah, and then your broadcast people aren't really paying anything. You just want them to like tune in whenever you are on broadcast,
Right.
right? So, like, how does that work in terms of like you being able to pull in like, the casual fan from a less expensive medium,
I
right?
have no idea.
Like, does your,
No
well, I mean,
idea.
that's the question, right? Like,
Yeah,
does
yeah,
your
for sure.
product like, cross over into that broadcast space? And like MLS has tried to do it with soccer for 2 decades and ultimately like dropped out of it. So
Yeah.
like,
It's hard, man. It's
it's
hard.
hard as shit.
You know what they need to do?
Get us on there.
No.
Oh, I mean,
I'm
that was
not
my
gonna be
answer.
chasing no damn deadline for Fox or some shit like that. Absolutely not.
Hey man,
Uh
they could give me the bag. Like they could give us the bag. We could put out some captivating broadcast level content. Like we can do that shit.
bro, they gotta go get Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah,
Get
they need.
Shonda Rhimes to write your shit, and then you be straight. Cause she
Yeah,
does not miss, my boy.
yeah,
She will have people on your shows for the next 25 years straight.
yeah. Yeah, I do think I mean, I do think you're really onto something with like reaching outside of like the sports landscape to tell captivating stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like the NWSL is kind of onto this with this little off-season thing they're trying to do, where they did like a little recording. Like I don't know how official it is or like how actual like episodic they're going to make it, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently like they put like 12 players from the NWSL in a house, like,
Oh shit.
and like just recorded some of the
Well, they be 12 in the
interactions.
house anyway. Edit that
Yo,
out.
we gotta
Edit that out.
timestamp. No, we don't. No, that is the joke of the year. Oh my god. Oh shit. That is the joke of the year, my
I'm
boy.
kidding. I love y'all. I love y'all.
I love the NWSL too, but that might be content gold, my boy. Oh my god. He said they'd be 12 in the house anyway. Oh shit.
I'm
Oh,
kidding. That's the old NWSL. I'm kidding.
that is not that old of NWSL, bro. Ah! Oh man, back to the off season. But yeah, like I like that's I think Midge Purse like produced it or whatever.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean
Get
like
your
it's
EP credits.
yeah, like it's a good idea. Like, but I don't think MLS like really leans into that. And not for nothing, this is the first time I've seen like NWSL really lean into it. But you're 100% onto something about like, bringing in these other elements of storytelling that aren't necessarily like 100% sports centric. Like Shonda
Yeah.
Rhimes could like body like some MLS or like NWSL storytelling. That shit would be captivating.
100%. And especially if she get a hold of Don Garber.
Woo!
She'll have Don Garber looking like a damn henchman.
Yeah, but that shit'll sell.
Oh, will it sell? MLS will be the hottest product in the States, my boy.
Yes.
Thank you for checking out Chop Soccer Pod Short Corners. For more, check us out on Twitter @Chop Soccer Pod and Instagram @Chop Soccer Pod. You know the vibes.